Take 6. I filmed this like 7 times now, or 6 times, whatever, and I can't get it right. I'm just a little rusty. I haven't been filming in a long time, but I'm back now. So today we're going to be talking about Lilith in the 6th house. Now Lilith is the void between the earth and the moon. It's that black void. I like to think about Lilith as the female version of Pluto. All of these qualities and characteristics that come with Lilith in your house or whatever, Lilith is just usually negative. It's nothing you can do about it, you know? They're usually negative. So don't get offended if you hear something that you don't want to hear, and don't get offended if you don't like it. Because everybody has a dark side. Everybody has a Lilith. Okay? It's normal. It's natural. We're just going to talk about it today. So the 6th house is traditionally ruled by Virgo. Now, your Lilith does not have to be in the sign of Virgo for it to be in the 6th house. I'm just saying that Virgo is traditionally ruled by the 6th house, and the 6th house is traditionally ruled by Virgo. For example, I'm a Virgo ascendant. My 6th house is Aquarius. My Lilith is in Aquarius. My Lilith is in the 6th house, but it's in the sign of Aquarius. Okay? Good? We covered that? So then now let's talk about how this applies when Lilith is in the 6th house. Just a heads up also, not everybody embodies all of the qualities of Lilith in the 6th house. You may find a few that resonate with you, and a few might not, because we grow out of things, we mature, and it really just has to do with your overall personality. You know what I mean? Astrology is kind of just a little pathway. You know, not everything's gonna apply because you have so many other signs and so many other placements, and the sign itself that your Lilith is in affects so much of it as well. So anyways, let's get into it. So Lilith in the 6th house, this person isn't really gonna like authority, and it's not gonna like anybody that tells them what to do. Okay, so the person does not like authority, and he or she does not like to be told what to do. Okay, and this has to stem from childhood. Also, this house, Lilith in the 6th house person, is not really good with routine. They don't really like routine. They may try to have a routine, but it never really works out. And this has to do with your childhood, like I said, because your parents may have not been so structured, and then you grew up not really having a routine, or maybe you did, but you just didn't like it. And here also, you don't like to be told what to do is because when you were younger, you were probably told what to do a lot, and you didn't like it. And let me tell you why. Well, this is my theory. I don't really know. But I'm a Lilith in the 6th house person, and I hated being told what to do. I would always get told to clean and clean. My mother would always tell me that. And I hated when she told me to do it, and it would make me not want to do it. But if she didn't tell me to do it, I would do it because I knew I was capable of doing it. I just didn't want to be told to do it. You know what I mean? So that's just kind of the perspective I have on it. It's like someone telling you information that you already know, and it's just kind of annoys you because this is Virgo. This house is Virgo. So Virgo doesn't like to be told what to do, especially when they know how to do it, and especially if they're going to do it already. You know what I mean? And although they don't like to be told what to do, when they do something, they want to be thanked and admired, and they just want to be appreciated. And that need to be appreciated and validated, the intensity of it varies between everybody, and it also varies on what sign your Lilith is in. I'm sure if it was Lilith in Leo in the 6th house, it would be a lot different than someone that had Lilith in Sagittarius in the 6th house. A Sag wouldn't really care, but a Leo would care for the admiration. You know what I mean? So anyways, now let's talk about school. Here, you're going to find someone that is fairly smart. The way that they study, though, and the way that they absorb knowledge, and the way that they learn, though, is a lot different than the conventional way of learning. And they're not going to want to sit in a classroom and listen to the teacher speak as they take notes. That's probably really boring for them. And a lot of people with Lilith in the 6th house can be little disruptive students. And the more that the teacher tells them to stop, and the more it's going to make them want to do it. They can be a little disrespectful in a school setting. You know what I mean? But they're usually smart. You know what I mean? To a certain extent. They usually have a good head on their shoulders, and that's why they don't like boring classroom settings or things that have to do with every day. They're not going to do well with like assignments that are given every day or a lot of work because they're also lazy and they procrastinate. But we're going to get into that like a little bit later. So in school, they may be someone that copies off kids. They may be someone that finds an easy way to do things when it comes to like small assignments like that. But usually when the test comes, they don't have to study a lot to do well or perform well. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's just how the energy kind of works here. Now, when later in their life and they get into adulthood and they're in their workplace and all of that stuff, these characteristics are also going to play out here. And if not, they're going to be stronger as you grow older because more competition, I guess. I don't know. I'm not that old yet, so I can't really tell you. But off what I know, Lilith in the 6th house is probably gonna hate their coworkers, or not hate them, but their relationship with their coworkers won't necessarily be that close, or they won't really like them. This house, this placement hates people that are incompetent, people that don't work fast or think fast or do things the way that they like it to be done. That's why these people can also be kind of really rude bosses or something, or managers, is because they want things done their way, because they think that their way is the right way. You have to remember that Virgo characteristics are going to play out strongly here when it comes to your job, because it's like Virgo, it's just like they're so meticulous and they're so analytical. And when you have Lilith here, that's also very analytical and focused on details, that's going to be very pronounced when it comes to these areas of your life. So they could make really good bosses because they like to be the person in control. They may not be necessarily extroverted, they might not be necessarily rude, but they do like having that that upper hand over people than people having the upper hand over them, because they don't like that. Now, issues with their coworkers, sure, there can be a lot of them that they don't like, or that they secretly don't like. Or you could just not give a crap about your coworkers either way. You know, you might not have any relationships with anybody that you work with. Or you might hate a lot of them. You might think that they're incompetent. You may think they're slow. You might have that one lady, Susie, that sits behind you that just sniffles too much so you don't like her. Things like that. Like, it really just varies on the person's natal chart and everything. You know what I mean? So like I said, they don't like control. They don't like to be told what to do. Meticulous. Oh, let's get back to this meticulous and analytical side of them. They are very analytical. They will kind of watch how you do things and just observe you. It may not be creepy. It's just like a habit that they have of observing you and like people watching and things like that. But they're very judgmental about other people in their heads. A lot of them can just be really critical, and they watch your actions, and they watch what you do, and they watch how you behave, because the second that you do something wrong to them, they're going to spit all of that stuff out of you. It's like a snake's tongue. Like, you do not want to like test these people because they'll roast you, is what I'm trying to say here, and it's going to sting, and you don't want to get on their bad side if you're like their coworker or something, or your boss or their boss, because they can be very vindictive at times, and they like to be better than their coworker. So I don't know what extent they would go to like show that they're better than them, but that's just like a general overview. It's not specified to everybody. You know what I mean? So Lilith also has to do a lot with sexuality, just like Pluto does. Of course, like the Lilith characteristics I find are more prominent in the female, whereas Pluto is more prominent in the males. But we're going to just talk about it in general. So here, I'm going to give you an example because that's the best way I can speak about it. So Lilith in the 1st house is someone that's very, very seductive, naturally. Like the 1st house, your appearance, what you give off to the world. But here in the 6th house, you're not going to have that sexuality that like you're walking down the street and everybody's like jaw-dropping because like you're just so beautiful. That's usually not how it works. How it works is in a classroom setting, in a work setting. stuff like that, in a library, in a bookstore, something like that. You're doing something, your actions, the way you carry yourself, the way you present yourself, the way you focus, the way you write, the way you speak, the way you, did I say read? The way you read, things like that. Just the way you do all of that stuff, for some reason, you put like a sexual twist on it. Or the way that you do things is attractive to the opposite sex. Or the same sex. We're in 2018. It can be the same sex. You know what I mean? So, yeah, just the way that you do things may also be what people find attractive in you. And you guys usually know that you have a certain sexuality to yourselves. Like, it's Lilith. Lilith knows, like, it knows when she's, like, hot. I'm sorry, like, it's true. So if you know that you're, what's it called? If you know that you're attractive, these people will tend to use their sexuality to use it as a tool of control over other people to get what they want, whether it's from their coworkers or it's from their boss or whatever the case may be, or it's their teachers. These people can also like be admired by teachers or whatever the case may be. I don't know. But yeah, so they'll use their sexuality and seductive traits in the workplace or in school. Moving on. Because of these seductive qualities and because of these seductive traits, you maybe tend to have sexual affairs with your coworkers or with your teachers or with your bosses or who knows. Any of that stuff, you may be prone to do it. Just know that if you do that, it might have a messy outcome. If someone says that they're married, don't go near it. Just stay away. Just stay away. He's probably or she's probably not that cute anyways. Just avoid any like affairs in the workplace because it usually won't turn out positive. It'll usually just be messy and awkward and just weird. And I don't know. I'm just saying that it's just probably not going to work out. Now let's talk about health and hygiene and your daily routines. So like we said before, Lilith in 6th house doesn't really like routine. So they're probably going to be scattered depending on like what they want to do that day. Because if they don't feel like doing something, they're not going to freaking do it. It's just not going to happen. So when it comes to their hygiene, they may be off. Like they may be off and on. They may be really bad with their hygiene. I don't know. I feel like that's a really bad one to have. If you have this quality from your Lilith in 6th house, you got to get on top of that. But a big thing here is that they may avoid doctors or they have really strong opinions regarding medicine and the medical field, and they just might have stipulations towards that. Like for me, I don't really believe that cancer therapy is the smartest idea, considering that like it kills all of your cells, things like that. Like it just doesn't make sense in my head, and I'm very like strongly opinionated on that topic. So people with this placement may have things regarding medical treatment and stuff, and they probably don't trust like their doctors, or they just don't have as much faith in health professionals. Another thing here is that they can also have like whether it's bad eating habits, whether it's like body disorders or stuff like that they might have. And yeah, things like that. Just when it comes to like their overall health, it may be poor. Like they might get sick often, but here you're not gonna find like really like death, like what's it called? What am I gonna say? Fatal diseases. Like they're not usually gonna be that bad. You're just gonna have problems with like colds and coughs and like the flu and headaches and things like that. Like minor things, but you might get them frequently. So yeah, that is Lilith in the 6th house. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in my next video.